I do know that you see a lot of uniforms, not Nigerian approved uniforms, so to speak, but these pockets of security outfits
or not the
have their
uniforms
own,
of
have their
security
own,
agencies.
of course. You see that, and you keep for younger ones, maybe they are seen as police, or they're not police, okay. But then we're looking at the role of private security outfits in securing lives and property. And before we go on to the guest, who guards your house?
Well, the person who guards my house belongs to a private security outfit. I don't know their name, but there are so many of them. And you find some of them within several business premises. They are different ones. Maybe to provide some form of uniformity regarding the security personnel surrounding a particular business, please, because it may look unorganized if you perhaps visited a bank and you just find one man in mufti and find another in mufti standing around and he tell you they're security men. But to give the sense of an organization and to give the sense that these are security men, you can differentiate them from other people, so they have a uniform. And then some private individuals, perhaps who would have the experience of working with security agencies, set up some of the security firms to provide security to people, because you cannot have a policeman attached to every house. You cannot have policemen attached to every business outfit. So they bridge the gap. They serve as an additional layer in the security architecture. That's what this private security firms actually do. But we'll look at the operations today, and then we'll look at how they complement the security agencies that we have in the country, their role towards improving security. These are some of the areas that we'll be looking at as we talk with Richard AMURA, who is Managing Director of Mega Guard Services Limited. Good morning, Richard.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, looking at how private security firms have emerged, how are they complementing the security architecture that we have in the country?
First of all, again, let me say good morning to our viewers. How are we complementing the public security? Don't forget that, just like you said in your introduction, that the private security are in every nook and cranny, and that we see things that ordinary people see, and we are supposed to report that to the authority for action. We have to make arrests where necessary. Unfortunately, the system we have in Nigeria does not really give room for that. Private security organization in Nigeria have a body called an Association of Licensed Security Practitioner of Nigeria. It's a body based in Abuja and 36 states, including Abuja. So we are supposed to work with Nigerian police and every other public security. But unfortunately, that is not what's on the ground as I speak with you. This is my 23 years in this industry. So, and I was the former National Publicity Secretary of the National for 5 years. So whatever I said today as on my own, I'm saying it as an authority in the field. And I'm saying it as somebody who has been running private security for the past 23 years in Nigeria. So unfortunately, like it's done in other parts of the world, like for example, in South Africa, most of these jobs you see, LASMA, all those ag bureau that they do, in South Africa, it's private security that does it. And like you said earlier too, I'm going to confirm this, that today in Nigeria, about 200+ million people, we have less than 400,000 policemen protecting the citizens. So they will ask a question: what stopped Nigerian government or the public security to bring in private guards to work with them. Not stop us from having a pool of information where information is gathered, and we take it to somewhere, and it is processed and it is taken off. I can assure you that today, in my local government where I operate, the police authority there does not even know I exist. Even when you go to them to let them know that, okay, you are in a particular place, but this is what you are doing, they don't care. So I think there's a whole lot of system changing, that we need in Nigeria. That's why I say sometimes, and which is acceptable in everywhere. Security is local, but the system we operate in Nigeria here is just so bad. That's why I see insecurity is trading.
We'll come to that system we run in Nigeria. Sorry to interrupt there. You have spent 23 solid years in this business. Now, let's look at the quality of hands you engage. What I know about this is that, okay, people who run the show are probably retired military personnel or retired police officers who now train people to take up small security jobs here and there. Is this just a business for you, or do you really have trained hands working with you? Because what I see most times are gate men, not really security men.
You are very right. Well, let me correct something. I know you don't need to have a military or police background to run a security business or to be part of security organization. You see, and that's the problem we're having today. A lot of people think that anything security must be military. Security, especially when you are working with people, should be civil. For me, I trained as to do what I'm doing. I trained to run this business. I also went to UK to have a course on SIA, where I studied to know how to run a guard business, how guards operate. In UK, guards is being controlled by the government, by the secretary to the government. So all eyes is on security. I must be licensed as a guard to operate. If you don't have your license, for example, in UK, you don't operate as a security. Unfortunately, after my studies and everything I did, I came back to Nigeria. I also had my management and operational training in Unilag. Because Unilag operates the diploma and advanced diploma course on security operations. So I got that too. I need to say yes that the problem we have is the fact that the guards, majority of the guards, do not take guards, guards as a career, unlike other parts of the world. Here, it is let me just do it until something better comes. Let me just do it until I get something else. So when you see a lot of people at the beat, on their beats, they are not really doing what they've been trained. No security company will just recruit, except maybe the facts among us, those who are not licensed. But don't forget again, I need to let you know that every security company is licensed by federal government. And for you to be licensed, you have to go through rigorous background check from the DSS before Ministry of Interior. Then for our own, there was Ministry of Internal Affairs before they sign your license for you to operate. So, true and true again, you must have maybe a retired military or police in your director. But that does not mean that you, as a MD or as a founder, must be a military or a police person. So when you see guards misbehaving or doing what they do at their location, it's not what they are sent to do. I'm going to assure you that most of them are just doing what they are doing. Just like a policeman that you have trained, spend so much money. You see the way they behave, you see them on the street, you ask yourself, are these really guys security? So I think it's a system we need to change in our, in us as people. That when you are working, for example, there's these two boys they call, I can't remember their name again, they were working as a guard, and I think they were suspended because they were dancing while they were doing their job. You can imagine somebody who is supposed to be protecting an organization, and was now dancing to the public or for the public, and they were sacked because of what they are doing. And somebody took them up and said, okay, how come these young boys were doing this job, and took them up and he gave them scholarship to go back to school. So what I'm saying here is that the moment the guards were training, begin to see this job as a career that can, that can help me to become somebody. For me, speaking here, I started as a guard. I didn't just wake up because fortunately I was not born with silver spoon. My parents didn't have money to send me to school, so I needed to work to be able to go to school, send myself to school. So I think the first job I took when I finished my secondary school, class 5 then, was to come to Lagos and pick up a job. And one of the jobs I did was security. And I found my way back to university and to the US and to UK for further studies, where I graduated and won.
All right, now let's look at the training of these personnel that work with private security firms. How well are they trained and empowered to effectively deliver on their job? You gave the example of the boys who were security guards or were security personnel at a restaurant and they were found dancing. Now, perhaps they did that because they didn't know what their job entails completely. So what is the training like for personnel of private security firms and empowerment too?
They do. We do train the boys. There is this local adage out there that says, when you are trained, you retrain yourself. For example, I want to use my organization as an example. After training in a classroom, we train them on the job too when they get to the location where they're going to train, because we have gotten all the information about our clients. If you're media, if you're a production organization, if you are whatever you are into, we take it back to the classroom and train the guards that you are supposed to be posted there. But like I said, it all depends on individuals who chose to do their own thing. I told you about myself. I was a guard. I was trained, and I worked in some establishment before I went back to school and started my own. It is some of the things I've learned why I was a guard that I know, and what I learned in the school that made me who I am today. The problem I think over the years I've seen with Nigerians young men is the fact that they really don't want to learn. They didn't want to know, because you see, you can't force. We are not. There's discipline. There's rules and regulations. There's codes of conduct which we try to apply. But you see, the problem we have again, for example, you are paying a guard. Let's assume you are paying them, amount, maybe, let me say 1,000 naira. And a guard sees another company paying 1,500 naira. He pulls down his uniform wherever he is and move to the other locations. Okay. In another company. That will takes on the organization. Okay. But right now, the association itself are working on it. And we're trying to have a central training manual where every company, A to Z, will train their guard on the same manual.
Okay, let me take you up on the issue of emoluments, or should I say salary, for the guards, the private guards. Essentially, this might actually rattle you a little bit. You discover that, okay, you charge an estate that the estate will be paying 20,000 naira to one security personnel you assign to the estate. What we found out is that the owner of the outfit would take like 8,000 naira off the 20,000 naira, leaving the man doing the job with 12,000 naira. This is a kind of disincentive. Are you guilty as charged? Or if you're not, what do you have to say to those who are guilty about it?
Okay, I need to say this. I need to correct it, and thank God we are doing this this on national TV. We government, like I said, we are given a license to do this job, and in our license, government say we should pay 60% of whatever we collect to our guard and 40% to the guards. But you find out, for example, in our organization, we give as much as 75% because we realize that the clients do not want to pay. For example, there's a job I rejected yesterday because for us right now, we said we cannot take any job less than 45,000 naira in this economy. If you have your calculator here, sir, before now, a client want to pay you 30,000 naira. Calculate 60% of that and 40% of that. Look at the cost of operations. Look at the cost of uniform. Look at the cost of insurance. Look at the cost of medical. Look at the cost of you pay the office facility. Look at the cost that you pay the staff that works in the office. So there's a lot people don't know. So people assume that maybe like using your word, you pay 20,000 naira, you pay the guard 18,000 naira, you take 80,000. No, it's not done that way. There's a lot that goes to operational gas, that operations of gas services, or a lot. In fact, a lot of us we are not making money at all. A lot of us run on losses. And I've said that you can come and check our books or go to any company and check. As I'm talking to you right now, we are not collecting jobs because the economy is not smiling on our clients, on us. For example, how do you expect me to take a job of 30,000 naira in this present economy, and you expect me to pay the guard 60% of 30,000 naira? How does he go to work? How does he feed himself? How does he pay the children's school fees? How does he pay for his house rent? How does he take care of himself? Within the 60% of the 30,000 want to pay. So it's not that client pays you, X amount, and you just chose to give the guard what you like. No, there's a lot of indices, there's a lot of variables, there's a lot of things that goes with it. So people just assume. And sometimes for me personally, because like I said, work as a guard, I explain to the guards, and they understand what we're doing. The uniform alone, to kit a guard today, from toe to head or from head to toe, the cap, the shirt, the trouser, the boots, everything the guard is wearing, it costs. And this guy cannot wear this thing sometimes more than 4 months. It wears out and you change it again. And when you are changing it, you are not asking the client to pay. So there's a lot. But what government specify us to pay is 60%. Why we take 40 to run the company. And unfortunately, we find out that the 60% is small, and we're paying 75%, sir. So that's the situation we find ourselves.
Okay, let's look at monitoring of the security personnel. Sometimes particularly those who are posted to residential areas, are found to have compromised and become accomplices to crime. So what's the security firms doing to check this?
Unfortunately, again, that's the human factor I always that comes with this job. What we try to do with our own is the fact that when we're employing you, we make sure, apart from doing a proper background checks, we make sure that somebody that is going to sign for you, or that's going to stand for you as a guarantor, is somebody we can hold responsible. And we tell your guarantor, sir, somebody have sent your name and your contact to us that you are going to guarantee him in case of any misbehavior, in case of any theft in a location. So what he does is that puts fear in the guards' hearts. Unfortunately, human being what they are, they always want to do their own. See, guys, it's not just only in Nigeria. Across the world where human being works. For those of us who have been an employer for over the years, the problem we always have is employee. good employee. I only tell people that I was an employee in the past and I gave my best. When you assign me a job, I do it, first of all, understanding that my family have a value and I have a name to my family value. And first of all, I have integrity to protect. A lot of Nigerians today don't think like that. Rather, what they are thinking is how to survive. They assume that, okay, you are rich, you have money, so you are using, so I need to make money by all means.
Okay.
People don't want to follow the process anymore. People don't want to do what they're supposed to do, to wait for their own time. So if the guards are trained, sometimes I give them motivational talk. I get my guards to understand that this job you are doing is not the end of the world for you.
I like that.
You can be doing this job and you can be doing this job and you'll be schooling.
All right.
And at the end of the day, you become a better person.
All right.
So I put my life on the ground for my guards, for them to understand that I was a guard. My father didn't have money to send me to school. But today, look at, I've traveled to 10 states in the US. I've been to UK severally. I've done so many courses. So look at me. Today, you are interviewing me on national TV. So if I've not prepared myself as a guard, would I be able to speak?
Okay.
So the question here is that people need to understand that there's a process in life.
There's a process. Let me just cut in at that point, because sometimes your personnel are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed psychologically, they are overwhelmed physically. Who are they in the scheme of things? That's the assumption, to talk to some people. Now, when you have instances where your personnel are overwhelmed, can they call for reinforcement from other law enforcement agencies? Is there that handshake there?
There's none, but we as an organization have tried to put it in place. For example, when I'm working in a particular community, what I do is I report to the nearest police station there that we have a location here. In case there's any emergency or in case there's any distress, please don't ignore our call. But again, sir, don't forget the system. Guys, listen. We have issue in Nigeria. Anybody that do not believe that person have an issue itself. We have issues about security in Nigeria, especially when it comes to public security. Today, even the public security themselves, they don't have interrelationship. They find it difficult to work with one another. That's why you see LASMA fighting the army fighting the police fighting the navy. So who are we, the guards, the normal? They see us as a bloody civilians. But don't forget that we are over 5 million. We have over 5 million personnel across Nigeria. So why are you not working with the personnel that we have? We have made our notions known to the government and to the police and to the DSS and to all to the authority. We have had seminars. We have had so many conferences where these people are brought together and for us to say, let's have private security and public security working together. But after the seminar, communiques are given, papers are passed, but nothing is done. Guys, I'm talking as an authority in this industry. I'm talking as a man who has been in this business for past 23 years, as a man who started this job. I was 23 when I started this job. 23 years old. So I beat my chest to say today, listen, guys, the truth here is that it is a tough business. It is a tough terrain. It is very tough, because for me to have gotten my license as young as that age and be approved to run this business, it means that has an integrity. So what I want to know, answer your question, it is difficult working with the Nigerian police. Sometimes, for example, issues happen in our location, you go and tell the police what happened. The first thing they do is to arrest the guard. Instead of listening to say, okay, what really happened? When your staff comes there, they arrest your staff again. The next thing, say, come and bail. And when they say come and bail, you are the one that went to report a case in your location. You are the one arrested, and you are the one they are asking to come and bail again. And what's the essence of that bail because of the money they want to collect from you? I'm saying this on national TV. Let them call us to a roundtable discussion if it's not happening. When you're trying to tell a policeman you're a security consultant and this is where you are working, you say, my friend, go and sit down. They talk to you like like you are a non-entity or like don't know what you are doing. And this is just ordinary corporal or a sergeant who, before he took up the job, you have been doing this job for years.
Okay, well, in regards to this, we still understand that while we may have other security agencies, but the police is still the authority in Nigeria when it comes to protection of lives and property of the citizens. And so other agencies or other layers of security, whether private, must come to work in synergy. So to ensure a smooth partnership, what would need to happen regarding the regulatory framework or some form of arrangement? What should happen to ensure respect of each other's boundary and to provide that enabling environment for a strong partnership, smooth, strong partnership?
Yeah, for me, I think if we have considered the people we have to protect, if we have considered the people we need to make sure they are safe, what should come to our mind as people, either private or public police, is the fact that we need to have a synergy. We need to be able to pass an information that we have a core duty, which is to protect the life and property of Nigerian citizens. Whether I'm being paid directly to do this job and you as a policeman, you are being paid by government to do that job. What should come to our mind first of all is the professionalism. Are we professional enough as people to want to do this job? Do we see this job as a career, or do we see it as no, I don't have a job, let me just pick it and do it as a job? No.
Okay.
So I think what should come is that we should sit down, we should agree on methodology on how we can able to sit down, pass information to them, process the information, and use it, and able to respect one another. So I think I need to say this from what I've observed over the years in this business, is the fact that some people just want to come across that we are the one doing it. Just like you said, yeah, police has been mandated. They are the ones that are number one police, civil, to protect life and property, because they can't do it alone. In every part of the world, mark my words, there's no police organization has been successful without the people or without the private organizations, because they are not witches and wizards. Okay. They need information.
All right. Private security, outfits are just some kind of retirement plan for old people, so to speak, because most of the time, the class of people that are seen manning the gates as private security are old men, some of whom don't have the energy to do this job again. Is there no age limit, age restriction? Is it an all-comers affair? Basically, because of affordability? I wouldn't know, really. Hello. Okay. A glitch there. I have discovered.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I was asking, why do we have old men most times being the people that are recruited to join the private guards? Okay. We'll have you back when the issue is resolved. Because more often than not, the ones you see manning the gates, the ones you see opening the gate to you, the ones you see securing your estate, so to speak, are old people. And you begin to ask yourself, is this some kind of retirement plan for old people? Because where is the energy to be a guard at 60?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what the criteria is regarding the age cap.
He's back. I think he's back. All right. Richard, you can go on now.
You see, for me, I don't employ old men.
It's not about you. It's not about you alone. You are just one person. That's the practice.
I'm coming. Yeah, coming to that, even our association, we have tried to tell our members, no, not so, because there's a lot of risk involved in employing such old people. And the risk has to do with the fact that they could collapse, they could die on duty, and anything can happen. That could be heart attack. So it is a risk even for any organization trying to use all those old men. I can assure you that most of old men you see, they are not from private organizations. They are employed by individuals, especially the schools. The school authority, they actually uses all those old men. For me, I've challenged them over time that no, you can't be using all these old men to do this job. So it's not about private security alone. It is about individuals who are using them.
All right, let's talk about enforcing security. It is not enough to just have guards wearing uniform. But what about the permission to carry arms? Do private security personnel have the permission to carry arms? And without the permission to carry arms, can they effectively do their job?
Well, that's the unfortunate thing. We don't have permission to carry arms, and we as an association, we have gone to the National Assembly over the time through civil defense. Don't forget that civil defense, Nigerian security and civil defense, they are the one that regulate us. They are the authority that monitors our activities. Over time, we have gone to the National Assembly to say, hey, allow us to carry our men to carry arms. But it's been rejected. And again, you are not going to blame them, because even among the public security that carries arms, you could see how they are misusing it, and because of the kind of insecurity in Nigeria today. So I think it all depends on what government wants, because there's no way you can say you are providing security in a volatile situation like Nigeria, in a volatile place like Nigeria, and you do that with just a baton or with wisdom. So all we do as guards is to be proactive. We don't allow it to happen. We try more to be proactive in our dealings. That's the first thing we teach the guard. Because if you allow it to happen, you cannot control it. But if you are proactive before it happens, you can easily report it, and the police with armed police, we take charge.
So basically, from what you said, what the private security firms do is surveillance.
Not just surveillance. Like I said, being proactive is not just surveillance. Somebody who is coming with gun, or somebody who is coming to attack a location, and you have nothing. There's nothing you can do. That I said that when you are in that location, the first thing you do, or all you do, is to make sure that activities around that location is safe, and you take note of people that comes and go. Don't forget that when you are guarding a place, it's not about the external aggression alone. It's even about the staff of that organization, because a lot are taken out, a lot of things happen, and the management said that those things need to be checkmate. So it all depends on your organizational role in that place, and that's why you see us sometimes we have armed policemen working with us. In most big establishments, you must see 1 or 2 policemen working with the private guard in their facility.
All right. On the very last note, because we have run out of time, are your men allowed to be aggressive with suspects? Why am I asking this? I stumbled on a particular scene where a private security person was slapping a suspect. Yes, I wouldn't know. It was still a suspect at that point. What happens to ethical practices? Is there a provision for you to, ensure that they have this human face? Because by the nomenclature of security, they think they are empowered to go all the way and slap and hit. Is this allowed?
It's not allowed. Even a policeman is not allowed to slap anybody. There's a current training where that was early last year, that was human rights. That every guard must be trained on human rights. Because if a guard misbehaves in a location and a civilian who knows his right can go and sue the company, because the guard will bring the company to have issue with the civilian, and the company will not want to have such disputes with a civilian. So we'll be training our guards on the issue of human rights. No guard, like I said, or even a policeman have right to slap. You have no right to be aggressive. Everybody still remain a suspect until he's proven guilty.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The problem we have is that people always do their own thing, which is very wrong. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Richard AMURA, Managing Director, Mega Guard Services Limited, for talking to us about the place of private security in securing the full country, complementing security architecture that we have, and providing security for businesses and also individuals. We appreciate your time with us.